Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you a really easy dessert idea for Thanksgiving. They're my white chocolate cranberry cookies that would be perfect for a potluck. So if somebody has asked you to bring something to Thanksgiving, or if you have an office potluck and you're kind of a beginner cook and you don't know what to make, these are the cookies to make. They're so delicious thanks to a few key ingredients and techniques, and super easy too. Let me show you how to make them. This is a pretty simple cookie recipe, but the one thing that is going to make all the difference is to brown our butter. I know this might sound like an extra step, and do we really need to do it? I'm here to tell you, you do really need to do it because it's going to make all the difference in the flavor. What is going to happen when we melt this butter, and this is another tip, I highly recommend to use Land O'Lakes salted butter for this recipe. Not a sponsored video, but I find that the flavor that you get with this butter is just so much better than unsalted or any other brand. If you can't get Land O'Lakes butter, just use regular unsalted butter, but add another pinch of salt to the half a teaspoon that we're gonna add in a minute. And then we're gonna set this on a medium-high flame. And then my other tip is to use a non-stick pan, because I've tried this both ways, with a non-stick and a stainless steel. And the thing with the non-stick is it doesn't burn the milk solids, because once this butter melts, it's the milk solids that get caramelized, and that is what creates that really delicious caramel flavor in these cookies. But I found with the stainless steel, those milk solids had a tendency of burning really quickly, and then you got this kind of like funky burnt taste. So go with a non-stick. Now, this is going to happen very quickly, but I want to show you the stages of brown butter so that you understand what you're looking for. So the first stage is it starts to get really foamy. So just keep swirling it around. Then what will begin to happen is it'll start to turn a very light amber color. You want to keep going through amber until you get to brown. Now you can see it's starting to kind of separate and becoming a little bit more translucent. This is the stage you want. You see how it's nice and brown? So it's sort of left that amber color and now it's getting nice and brown. This is the stage you want to stop, because all of that sediment in the bottom, that's all that caramelized milk solids that is going to add great flavor to our cookies. So we can go ahead and turn the flame off. Now here's the other critical step. You want to make sure that you transfer your brown butter into something that's heat safe, like Pyrex, like this, because it's super hot, and you want to cool it down, because if you add the hot butter to the sugars and then the white chocolate chips and the cranberries, the consistency will be different. It'll start to melt those chocolate chips and it won't be as good. So don't be tempted to put it in the fridge to cool it down, because that will also affect the consistency. You're better off just leaving it on your countertop. Do this first, then measure out all the other ingredients, and then give it another 10 to 15 minutes or so, and you should be good to go. And you'll see the butter, it's transparent, it's a really rich dark brown color. This is exactly what you want. Then the next step is going to be in an electric mixer. So it doesn't have to be a stand mixer, you can have just a regular mixer. And we're going to add equal parts sugar and brown sugar. So that's a half a cup of regular sugar. That's what's going to give that nice crunchy crispy edges to the cookie, is the white sugar. And then for that chewy interior of the cookie, we're going to do a half a cup of brown sugar. And then you want to add your cooled brown butter. And you'll see there'll be a bunch of sediment that will collect at the bottom. Don't throw that away. That's where all the flavor is. So make sure you get a little spatula and add that in. And when you beat that together, you'll start to smell that delicious fragrance of the brown butter. And then you should have like a wet, sandy mixture on your hands. It'll look something like this. And at this stage, you want to add 1 egg and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then you can beat that up. You want to beat it up until it has a really nice light beigey color, something like this. Then you want to mix up your dry ingredients. So in this bowl, I have a 1.25 cups of all-purpose flour. To that, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I really like to use baking soda in cookies as opposed to baking powder, because that is what makes them nice and chewy and crispy. And then a half a teaspoon of kosher salt. I like to use kosher salt for all of my recipes because I find you just get better flavor that way. It's not as salty as if you were to use just like regular table salt. And now we are going to add it to our mixture. I would just do maybe a third at a time. And then you want to scrape down the sides one last time. All right, now for the mix-ins. Now, I have a very strong opinion about the 2 brands you should use for this, because I've tried a lot and I find that you get the best flavor with the Ghirardelli white chocolate chips. You can get them at any major grocery store. I'll link to it below just in case. You can also find them on Amazon. And the Ocean Spray dried cranberries. I find that they are just the best flavor. They're plump, they're sweet, they're full of cranberry flavor. So I think the 2 of these together, you cannot go wrong. All right, so in they go. Half a cup of the chips and a half a cup of the dried cranberries. I do leave it in the mixer here. It's not gonna hurt it much, and just beat it like quickly, just so that it's combined. There, all ready to go. Then you want to scoop them out with a 2-ounce cookie scoop. I think this is the best size for a cookie that's about 3.5 inches. Give them room to spread because they will spread out a bit. And then you want to bake on the lower third rack of your oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 12 minutes. Now, when they come out of the oven, they'll be a little bit puffed up like this. But as they cool, and do let them cool for at least 5 minutes on the cookie sheet, because they'll continue to cook from the residual heat, they will start to flatten out. And when they do, they'll look like this, flat and crackly, and you'll see all that beautiful white chocolate and cranberry. And when you break them apart, you'll see what I'm talking about. They're chewy on the inside and then crispy on the outside. Let me give it a taste. These are really insanely good. It's a combination of that brown butter, that rich caramel flavor, with the sweetness of the white chocolate, mixed with the tartness of the cranberries. They are so good. I hope you guys give this one a try this Thanksgiving and let me know what you think. And I'll see you back here next week. Until then, bye.